Hey Amanda, we're going to take a look at your week 3 assignment 3 drawing here. I'm seeing a lot of the same kind of stuff that we were seeing in the last assignment. I think you've got some good textural work in place, and the perspective for the object itself feels well done, but it feels like there's still a lot of colored pencil work being used, and I would just really like to see more marker coverage being done within the kind of the object itself. Even the background seems like it has a good enough amount of marker in place, but the object, you're still going in with colored pencil in a lot of these areas. Even the cast shadow down below looks like it's being done with colored pencil. And I think you need to go in and really work with the marker more, get more coverage in place. I think more color could be helpful as well. It's going to help to kind of add a little bit more depth and variety to things. In the last assignment, I think there was an abundance of kind of uneven colored pencil being put into place. It looks like there's, having the base coat there, but really just using a lot of that to color the object, and you really want to use the marker to color the object. And so I'm not seeing that really kind of change much in this version. The texture is better. I think it definitely works more organically and comes across as more convincing, but it stands out so much because you don't have any kind of base coat in place. There's some perspective issues. I'm not going to get into them. I would just say to look at Star's critique, because she is doing this exact same thing that you're doing perspective-wise. It's basically your ground plane is just a little bit too low for how you're rendering the object in perspective. And again, just take a look at hers, and you'll be able to kind of see what's going on there. And also, some of the things like the tiles on the floor would benefit from having perspective being applied to them, so that they actually feel like they're receding in space just as the object itself is. There's minor quibbles here and there. I think your window feels very low to the ground plane. If this is kind of just a two drawer cabinet, it feels very, very low to the ground, and this two cabinet dresser would only be up to maybe mid thigh height, so you've got a very low window. There's not really much interaction with the object, with the environment. Cast shadow wise, there's a little bit of that occurring here, but not really anything else anywhere. No cast shadow on the wall, and not really, for me at least, any understanding of how a lighting situation is working within this scene. I don't know where the light is coming from, how it's affecting the objects, how it's affecting the environment. So I think you need to work with kind of the entirety more. I think some parts of this drawing have definitely felt measured out. They felt like they had a lot of care and attention being put into them, which is great, but it needs to be more of an all-around effort. The background feels, while very bold in color, still feels very minimal. There's not really any textural elements within any of the stuff going on in the background. Perspective's not being applied to it. There's not really any value being applied to it. So it feels very bare bones in that respect. And then there are perspective issues with it as well, which if you want the object to kind of fit in an environment, the environment has to be doing the same things that the object is doing. So receding into space, having that shading in place, having the texture in place are needed. So I think next week there's going to be a big kind of spike in kind of complexity to these assignments. So I think you will want to, especially the very first assignment of the week, really take advantage of it and see if you can work on the entirety of the project that that's needed, which is fairly a quick project. Try to work on the entirety of it. Don't choose something where you're going to just isolate one object out of a context. Deal with a subject matter where you'll have kind of an entire environment and a main object to deal with, and maybe we can get a little bit more commentary and a little more practice on your end on it.